building on what we started with previous games. It's really about giving players the most immersive world that they could enter. You should really be grounded in it. Expanding on the movement set that we've done so well, really pushing all these new features that we're going to be talking about.
Right, it sounds great. I'm genuinely excited. I have a few highlights that I'm looking forward to. Let's dive into it and talk about some of the gameplay. Here to do that is Daniel Berlin.
In Battlefield 5, we're expanding the toolbox for the player, giving you access to new abilities to create your own and brand new Battlefield moments. Now there's a deeper connection between the player and the world around you. You will be physically pushed by the shockwaves from explosions. You can experience completely new ways to traverse and tactically maneuver across the battlefield with our overhauled movement system. Our renowned destruction will rip up the terrain, leave chunks of masonry hanging from destroyed buildings, or have high-caliber rounds ripped straight through walls to take out enemies hiding inside. We're also bringing back classic modes, such as Majority Rule Conquest, but we also have new modes and experiences for our unique take on World War II. We're bringing back operations with a bang, and we're calling it Grand Operations. Here, you'll experience multiple game modes as you fight over multiple maps, all wrapped within our narrative journey through historically inspired battles from World War II. With the return of our anthology format for single-player war stories, with new characters to meet and untold stories to discover. Back to you, Trevor.
Now, Daniel just talked about a new multiplayer experience called Grand Operations. And I'm really excited because it sounds to me like you can pilot a giant grand piano like a tank. I'm pretty certain that's what it is, right, Andreas?
I'm not sure about the piano, but it's definitely massive. It's really about reliving all these power fantasies from World War II, like Airborne being power dropped in, and it's operations from Battlefield 1, but bigger. It's really great.
Yeah, I mean, what we want players to feel like is sort of a dynamic player-impacted experience taking place over 4 fictional days. I mean, day 1 starts with you jumping out of an airplane and with the objective to destroy the enemy artillery, with that enemy sort of entrenching themselves to defend and protect. And depending on how the outcome of day 1 goes for you, as the two main forces start to battle over day 2 in a game of breakthrough, with the number of lives you have left remaining, depending on what you did the day before. And then as you continue to push on into new locations, we're going to see things like Conquest Assault, where players continue to fight for that terrain. And assuming, when we see these players end up in a giant stalemate, then they're going to enter day 4, which is Final Stand. And I mean, this is sort of tired, muddy, no resources left. You've got just you, your squad, and one clip. And you all fight to the last man standing with the weight of the world on your shoulders.
So this is a game mode that you may never see if your games are not in a stalemate. You may never get to that 4th map and 4th story then.
Exactly.
That's an exciting way to play the game. I want to know when we can see more of that.
2 weeks. EA Play, Los Angeles. Yeah. You get hands-on multiplayer for the first time if you're there.
So even the reveal of Grand Operations spans across multiple events. Wow. Nice one, guys. I have to say, I heard you guys say that co-op is back, and that's one of my favorite aspects of Battlefield 1. Lars, can you tell me more about that mode?
I definitely can. I mean, I'm happy to say that for the first time since Battlefield 3, co-op is back, and we're calling it Combined Arms. And here it's yet another way to experience that Battlefield sandbox, next to our war stories and the multiplayer. And what we want to do here is to allow you and up to 3 players to go online and step into those shoes of the Pathfinders, those paratroopers that go in behind the enemy lines. And here you really only have the soldier next to you, maybe not Brian, but the soldier next to you to rely upon as you move forward, since, getting detected might mean death. And you will soon be struck by resource scarcity. You need to find the tools and find your way to the objective. So stakes are high, and you need to kind of assess, can I push through, or do we need to extract early? It's kind of win or lose. It's up to you.
I've been a huge fan of war stories, the single-player campaign in Battlefield 1. What I truly enjoyed about it was I felt like I was learning about the stories behind the war and playing through the stories of the war, and it didn't always end well. And what I loved is because of that history element, like for instance, I told my little brother, I said, hey, if mom ever catches you playing, just say this is a history class that you're doing on the console. And then what I'd do is I'd tell my mom he was going to do that so she would know that I was always her favorite. And what was great was seeing the story. Lars, like, how is single player going to change in Battlefield 5?
Don't tell this to my kids. Well, hardly changing. I mean, to me, I'm happy that you like the war stories. And for us, the war stories are really our opportunity to put the war into perspective. It's really about those human and untold stories of the war. And we try to portray those kind of real and relatable people facing epic warfare. And it's Battlefield after all, so we'll be talking a lot here today about the gameplay improvements. So player agency is key, so you can create your own Battlefield moments. And at the bottom line, it's about allowing you to witness the Second World War, but through the eyes of the men and women that changed the world.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see here, I mean, this is one of the war stories that we're going to be talking about first. I mean, this is our Nordlys story. This is the story of a young woman who is part of the Norwegian resistance fighters fighting the German occupation during World War II. I mean, this is an exploration of emotion and feelings. It's a family story. Right? You know, and this not only sort of really grounds the players in the reality, but sort of sets the context of the World War II that we're trying to create at DICE.
It's not often that you find stories that connect with the emotion of the characters in the story. Instead of just focusing on the explosions and the gunfire, you see that look in her eyes. You want to know what she's thinking, what she's experiencing in that story. Why was it so important for you to focus on the people behind the stories from war?
Well, I think it's important to tell, you know, sort of believable and sort of honest stories and really sort of set the context and sort of maintain that connection to the world that we're trying to create. I think it's important for people to understand where we're coming from and what our particular take is on World War II.
So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go back to Daniel now to cover what you'll take to the battlefield with you.
In Battlefield 5, we're aiming to mirror the immense arsenal of the Second World War. This was a period that saw an explosion in terms of innovation when it comes to weapons and vehicles. You will get to fly iconic airplanes, engage in incredible tank battles, and also unleash secret weapons from World War II. Weapons that are powerful enough to turn the tide of any battle. And with the new fortification system, you can be more strategic than ever in how you choose to defend or advance through the terrain. Back to you guys.
You know, in playing Battlefield, I know everyone in the audience will agree with me, people at home as well. I've always been impressed by the level of realism in the game. I remember once I was playing with a friend who served in Special Forces, and we were talking about our favorite guns, and I was talking about the recoil and what I liked about the sights versus other guns. And he turned to me at one point and he said, "Oh, where did you serve?" And I felt embarrassed because I was like, "Oh, Battlefield 3, that's where I was." And instead of him being angry, he was like, "I didn't know that there was a game that was that immersive, something that really was as true to real without being a war simulation as possible." Guys, tell me about some of your favorite weapons in the game, some of the new vehicles that will be available in Battlefield 5.
I think at first, just by going back to this era, the pool of hardware that we can choose from is immense. There's so much there. And for me, being a vehicle guy, it's really quite a simple choice. It's the Tiger 1.
The Tiger 1 tank?
Yeah, I think it's the most iconic tank from this era. I just think it's amazing.
What do you like about it? That's a weird choice for me.
Have you seen it? I think it's the best.
What, like the looks?
A bit, but also
Are you saying that, are you checking out a tank?
Have you been in a battle with that?
Yeah, but I've never looked at it. I'm like, if I'm on the outside, I'm dying. If I'm on the inside, I'm concentrating. When are you looking? When are you doing
You
this?
should try third-person camera.
And just run around the tank dying, and everyone's going to be like, "Who's that guy looking at the tank?"
It's, come on, it's beautiful.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, good.
So Andreas is a tank guy. Mr. Battlefield, Lars, how about you?
I'm with you, Trevor.
Yeah, you think he's weird. I know. Yeah.
Yeah. We've been trying to hide it, but now it's out. No, the fact that I'm also a support player. I can't hit the barn from the inside, so I need the big clips. And for me, the MG42 is really the weapon I play in the playtest.
Right, my man.
It has that iconic sound that, you know, it sends fear all over the map. And another part of it is the new kind of system which Daniel talked about for high-caliber weapons. So previously, I could make the same impact as a pistol, basically. But this time around, it comes with a punch. So where the pistol gets stuck in the wall, I can rip through. here, so I can finally make a difference on the battlefield.
Hashtag no more knocking. I like this.
Yes.
All right, so we got a tank guy. We've got a weapons guy. Ryan?
Well, sort of embarrassing to admit, unlike Lars, I can't hit a barn, period. So for me, it's the toolbox. In Battlefield 1, all players had a gas mask. In Battlefield 5, we're going to replace that gas mask with a toolbox. So that means I can run around the battlefield with my toolbox, setting up fortifications, and sort of really changing the dynamic of the battlefield so that these guys who can actually hit something, I can offer some value on the playing field.
Wait. So fortifications, you just skimmed over that, but what is fortifications?
Well, I mean, this as a support player, I mean, I think this is something you really love. It's something I think is a great addition to the game. It really allows you to sort of, for players who want to focus on the objective. I mean, this is something you can sort of pull out your toolbox. You can build reinforcements. You can reinforce buildings that Andreas has destroyed with his tank. You can build foxholes and set up machine guns so people like Lars can sit there and camp out at choke points. I mean, this is going to change the strategic way people play, both as attackers and defenders.
Was that in response to the gaming community? Because I know as a Battlefield gamer, I always wanted what I didn't have. So first I was going, hey guys, I need destruction. I need places to fall apart. And then at some point I was like, too much destruction. Like there's nothing left. Was this a response?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of esteemed players in here in the studio today and in the community overall who at some point, especially when we're testing, we came to a point where the level was leveled. The world was leveled and you couldn't advance. So basically this is to counter that and give you an additional kind of toolbox to rebuild, and then you and I can come in as heroes again and they fortify, we come there and we add an extra heavy machine gun or an AA gun, so it's kind of teamwork once again, and we are the celebrated heroes.
We are the celebrated heroes we deserve to be. I like that, Lars. Thank you. Now that we've learned about the tools, let's hear about the company. Here to tell us more, please welcome Natalie Ek.
Trevor, and yes, the company is something that is completely new to Battlefield 5. It's your personal collection of customized soldiers, weapons, and vehicles that you can tailor and grow as you play. The company is the heart and soul of your personal experience, and the choices you make here for your company actually matters. Not only will your choices affect the way you look, but also how your weapons and vehicles play. As you squad up with your friends, make sure to pick a soldier that complements the rest of your squad to take on the battle ahead. And during the game, adapt to the changing circumstances by calling your company and bring in the right soldier, weapon, or vehicle to suit your situation. Back to you, Trevor.
Andreas, that really sounds awesome. Tell me more about the company and how it works, because I know from my years in Battlefield that the group that really plays together stays together.
Now, the company is something that we're super excited about. So for the first time, you can now create your own personal experience with the soldiers you take onto the battlefield. It's really up to you to decide how you want them to play and also how they look. So as you keep playing and you get better, your soldiers will get better with you.
So give me an example of how this would impact me as a support class.
So if you take your support class player you want, and you start playing with that soldier, and you start progressing him, you're going to unlock a set of new abilities, new perks, and sort of these new exotic ways to play the game as a support class, and then unlock new weapons for yourself to play with. You take that machine gun that Lars loves so much, and you level that machine gun up. You make the choices that matter, and then you decide, well, I think this needs its own custom paint job. So you sort of make that machine gun, really make it your own, and then you go in and you grab that sort of iconic support outfit that you really want to wear going into battle. You jump in with some friends and off you go.
It's funny you brought up customization, because I've always believed in Battlefield the team is important, but looking badass is the most important thing. I think anyone who's been in war can agree with this. Please tell me that I can customize my look to be properly badass in the battlefield.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, if it's worth doing looking good.
Right.
So I think, part of the tactical gameplay that comes with Battlefield, I mean, what we want to do is give you the ability to create your own personal identity. So, no more anonymous soldiers. This is your soldiers in their boots going into battle. Their own weapons, customized the way that you want to do it, the gear that you want them to wear. I mean, this is going to feel like it's your own personal arsenal.
And obviously, I want to get as much of that arsenal as I can possibly get. How do I even begin getting all of this gear?
You play the game. I mean, for what we want players is you get rewarded for playing the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty short. It's whatever you want to progress towards, your company, your class, or a specific item, you play the game. And we set out to commit to that you always feel rewarded for what you do, whatever you play.
So you just play to unlock these items. Then I guess I have to ask, and I know it's a sensitive subject, but I'm still going to go there. Is this game going to be pay to win?
No, you can't pay to get an unfair gameplay advantage.
What if I have a lot of money?
Call me.
So you won't be able to pay?
No. So in Battlefield, it's always been about a balanced rock, paper, scissors gameplay, and it still is. You really have to, like Les was saying, you have to play the game to earn new gear, and skill is really key.
Okay, but what about Premium Pass? Will it be one of those games where I have to shell out another $50 6 months after I've bought the game? Is that how it works?
Well, I guess I get the fun part of not taking any more of your money as well. But no, there's no more Premium Pass in this game. This means no more.
Wow.
Thank you. It's the least I can do.
Thank you.
Yes. I mean, this means no more paying for maps, no more paying for modes. This is something the community has asked for. This is something the team really believes in. So what we want is a game where people stay together, they play the games together, and they get to go on this journey through World War II together.
That's beautiful. That means I finally lose my nickname, No Maps Noah. This is so dope. All right, well, it's time to learn about what happens after the game launches. So, to tell us all about live service, please welcome back Natalie and Daniel.
So launch is really just the beginning. Tides of War is an epic journey that you and your company will take through World War II. It will bring you an evolving, diverse game that will grow over time as we immerse you and your company in different theaters of war. Playing Battlefield 5 is an experience unlike any other. It will differ from all previous Battlefield games. And the most important thing, it's open to all players.
Yes, and there will always be new battles, new fronts, and rewards on the horizon. And by removing Premium Pass, we are keeping the community together. So this time, there will be no expansion packs, and all players will be able to take part in the same journey through Battlefield 5. And with Tides of War, our players will experience themed chapters of World War II, each spanning over several months. And these will focus on key moments that impacted the outcome of the conflict. Trevor?
This sounds to me like a wild, full ride through World War II, but Lars, like, how big of a journey will this be?
How long is the string? No, I mean, to put it into perspective, this was a world war. And, I mean, to me, it's going to be a huge journey. I mean, we want to take you on that journey with chapters from the history. And at the end of it, we really want you to be kind of experiences daily, weekly, and monthly events leading up to kind of the pinnacle of the grand operations and experience to achieve those special assignments, getting treated with extra rewards. So it is about keeping it fresh and constantly evolving, since what we see here and talk about here today is just the beginning. And as you play it through, you start to be taken to a new horizon, new locations, new gameplay, and I mean, stick in for the ride.
It sounds like it's going to be one of those experiences where the more I play, the more cool stuff I can get. I get rewarded for my time. Is that going to be across different modes?
It's really simple. You just have to play the game to earn new cool gear. And it doesn't matter if it's multiplayer or combined arms. Like you see here, you will be able to earn new vehicles, new weapons. It's going to be dog tags and soldier skins, weapon skin. It's all there to really customize your crew to really be standing out on the battlefield the way you want it to be.
Right, it sounds amazing, and I only have one question, and that is, when does this all start?
Well, the game launches in October. So starting November, running through early 2019, we're going to start with our first chapter, which is going to focus on the fall of Europe. So we're going to explore sort of the German mechanized war machine as it pushes its way into Europe. This is going to be live gameplay-focused events. We're going to have thematic rewards tied to this. You know, and we can't wait to talk to the community more about this as we lead up to launch.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to lie. You guys have definitely raised my analog stick, and I think we've waited long enough. This is the most immersive Battlefield yet in a World War II you have never seen before, where launch is just the beginning of the journey. I'm done talking. I think it's time we see this thing. Are you all ready? Yeah. Well, here it is, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, the reveal trailer for Battlefield 5.
Launching grenade! I got your back. That's the rocket! Fuck it! Hello, old friend.
Games play best on Xbox One.
Wow. Wow. The car, the thing, the man, the boo. You saw the thing, the man, the huh? I hope they got insurance. That was insane. Do you see that?
We did say it.
That was, Andreas, I don't feel like you saw it. I feel like you've seen it before.
I might have seen
The
it
person
before.
jumped on their back and then started shooting while moving on their back.
Yeah. It's cool. That's all I can say.
This is what happens when you live life in a tank, Andreas. That was exciting. Give it up for that one more time. That was an amazing trailer. Oh, wow. So wait, so before we go, am I correct in saying there were some new animations there? There were some new moves that you could do in the game?
There's a few.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Andreas. Thank you, Andreas.
To be honest, as in, I think we should thank the team back home in Stockholm for
Huge call out.
helping us to get to this point. I think they are truly amazing. And the fans. Again, we've been waiting for this moment for so long to be able to reveal what we've been working on.
This is really packed with gameplay, and then, I mean, a lot of this is direct feedback from community, leading to a lot of these improvements. So it's a huge thank you for the support, and once again the team for doing an extraordinary job.
As always.
And I'm pretty sure the look on your face, you know, hits the mark they're going for. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure that was
yeah,
unexpected.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Give it up for the people in Stockholm, please. Let's give it up for the people in Stockholm. Wow. Wow. Battlefield 5 launches worldwide on October 19th. In the meantime, these guys are giving away free expansion packs in Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4. So just head to battlefield.com for all the details. And next up is EA Play on June 9th, where you'll see multiplayer for the very first time. I hope all of you are as excited as I am for Battlefield 5. To watch that trailer again, go to youtube.com/battlefield. And if you want more info, join some of the team here with Xbox, who are hosting an exclusive post-show on mixer.com/Xbox. That is our show for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. I'm Trevor Noah. Good night. Wow.